Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the World Football Summit podcast. I'm your host, Jaime, CMO at World Football Summit. Have you ever wondered what it's like to lead the marketing department of a football club? Well, today, as we continue celebrating female leadership in football, we welcome Asli Elif Koç, Head of Marketing at Istanbul Basaksehir, to the show. Istanbul Basaksehir was founded only 9 years ago, but that has not prevented it from winning the Turkish League or becoming a regular in European competitions. Asli is passionate about football, and you can tell throughout the conversation in which we cover the secrets behind Istanbul Basaksehir's spectacular growth, the alignment between what their fan wanted, their values, and their partnership strategy, the club's strong views on sustainability and how they are executing on it. But we also get to know Asli as leader, as she shares advice for aspiring female leaders of the football industry. And as part of our focus on highlighting the remarkable effort some female leaders are putting in to shape the future of football, we have launched a special ticket for female leaders in sports, which grants you access to exclusive workshops with other industry leaders, unique discounts, and much more. If you are looking to take the next step in your sport industry career, this is your chance. Head over to www.worldfootballsummit.com. Again, that's www.worldfootballsummit.com and submit your request. And with that, enjoy this sports business masterclass with Asli Elif Koç from Istanbul Basaksehir. Well, Asli, thank you so much for joining us for the World Football Summit podcast. It's a great opportunity to have you here and to learn more about what you're doing at the club. And before going into the details of your role running Istanbul Basaksehir, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, it's perfect actually.
Okay. So anyway, I wanted to, give you the floor, and if you can briefly introduce yourself and guess more importantly, why is it that you do what you do?
Well, thank you very much as a start for inviting me here, to having me here to talk about myself and more about my club. Well, I'm a football enthusiast and I have a great passion for the beautiful game. Currently acting as the head of marketing, international partnerships and sustainability in Istanbul Basaksehir. Formerly worked in the Media Group, Doğuş Group, which you may recall from EuroLeague, and also acted as an event manager in several international sports championships in like football, tennis, swimming, athleticism. What I do, actually, why I do, what I'm doing for the moment, it's because I love this game for a very long time, and then I realized I love the value propositions behind the partnerships and the way they are activated via some clever ideas with brilliant brains. And then I decided to do it, business of football, no matter what. And at the end, it led me here.
Nice. And the thing is, when I speak to different clubs, every role is different. So in your case, every head of marketing at a football club has a different role. So I don't know if you can briefly describe to the audience what you're responsible for at the club, if you can divide your role into different buckets.
I actually have a lot of roles in the club, but as to start with marketing, as in every marketing department in a football club, we are here to tell stories, goes beyond the results on the pitch and does not always have to win. We are here to create and support our identity as well as a new club. And on sustainability side, we also tell stories about a common problem, environment. I basically managed a creative and communication plan by taking the lead here about the projects we're doing. We are trying to be impactful and more than a football club for our fans and football fans in general. I also run the process as a whole for international partnerships, starting from the negotiations to activations. I'm also acting as the UEFA main contact, which covers the organizations of the European competition matches.
Wow, so you're pretty much playing across the entire orchestra. Anyway, so I want to start with, it's been impressive how much Istanbul Basaksehir has grown, considering it's only, correct me if I'm wrong, it's only 9 years since the club was founded. Yeah. So, and it was actually only on the 6th year that it actually was able to win the title, no? Which is just an amazing feat. I think everybody knows about the team from the, let's say, sports side, but I want to help the audience understand more about the business side. So I don't know if you can define the club from a brand perspective.
We have actually 3 pillars for it, defining our brand. And it is Challenger, Young, and Innovator Club in our case, because we have like very big opponents in Istanbul and specific, and they're very traditional clubs. And since the beginning, we have been a challenger to them. And we also go with a team who challenges themselves every day on and off the pitch. And we are also very young, 9 years old for the moment, as I say, as a set. And we also, encourage invite youngsters here to challenge themselves as well. And as part of our innovator identity, what we believe is that we have already managed a great innovation in Turkish football by becoming, champion in our 6 years old only. So that was a pretty game changer event in Turkish football.
Definitely. And I'm curious because at the end of the day, Istanbul has top tier clubs that are legendary. No, we're talking about Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Besiktas. No, what makes Istanbul Basaksehir unique in that regard?
That's a good question. I must say that, yes, of course, there are over 100 years old of clubs and millions of fans locally, internationally, and we respect them a lot. But to us, they are traditional clubs, and our organizational structure to start with is a lot different because we're privately owned rather than foundations. And our mindset is a lot different. Where we are trying to position our brand is a lot different. Of course, it's not easy when you are in the same environment, but our offering, our proposition is a lot different. But one thing is clear, I'm not sure if this makes us unique, but for sure different. We have been a game changer to them and to domestic football in the country. We said difficult is nothing, impossible takes time, and it took only 6 years for us to achieve the impossible. Our fandom is not coming from family or something. We invite all youngsters, challengers here to make them impossible possible. We invite the brave ones to become game changers.
And one of the things that I think is key when you're, let's say, disrupting a league in this case so strongly is the team that you're able to build around you. And you alluded to that earlier, no? So, and to become an innovator, you really need a strong team. So I don't know if you can share, or is there any secret in terms of how you've organized the team from, again, the business side to effectively become such a powerful brand in such a short period of time?
I'm 100% agree with you, and we strongly believe in diversity and cohesion, the power of both. By building, during building our team on the business side. We believe that the success comes from the different thinking. As in our squad on the pitch, we select our staff also off the pitch, very diverse. In addition, we put a great care of education. We have the highest percentage of sports educated staff in Turkish football. Everyone knows what they do in his or her profession, and we would like them to take responsibility in their profession. That gives them, I believe, some kind of flexibility to create value, and this is what makes us really, successful in a very short period.
Okay, thank you for that. But at the end of the day, any football club to grow needs fans, no? And the thing is, again, as we said, there are many important clubs in Istanbul. So I'm curious, how did you manage to acquire funds to support the team?
Well, that's the tricky part for us. It's still tricky for us. It was hard at first, and as I said, it has been our biggest challenge to acquire new fans because this is a very passionate country about football, and everybody has already a team to support. And therefore, we changed our proposition and tried to give them the best experience on and off the pitch. And at the beginning, we brought so many well-known players to be a part of the experience, develop our product on the pitch and make it more entertaining, beautiful football and beautiful experience for fans so that they can come with their families, with their girlfriends. And we used our social media very smart and creative. And I believe at the end, success on the pitch and this kind of creativity and entertaining approach off the pitch brings you followers at least. But again, we are running our fan base strategy based on 3 different pillars: local, national, and international. And basically, we offer to be their second team in all strategies. And as I said, we are trying to diverse and differentiate our proposition to them as a football team.
Okay. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, you hit some of the core elements. No, you had since the very beginning, when you acquired Robinho from Brazil, you had entertaining and top quality players. You started to win games. You had Adebayor, exactly. I mean, top tier talent, which you still maintain today, with, for example, Mesut Ozil. And then you also have sport success. So I mean, at the end of the day, those are key elements to grow, And but taking it to the next level, one thing is to have those fans, and the other is to actually monetize from their support. So any best practice you can share on how you've been able to monetize from their support?
Well, I still believe that we don't have the best case yet, but it is because in our club, our priority is the awareness for now, rather than monetizing. Therefore, we are working on the experience first and to keep them pleased for the fans, to keep them coming like constantly, make them a regular visitor. And also, to be able to reach out to more audience in the world, we also use our digital partnerships, which gives us also the possibility, to monetize our experience as well. But as I said, it's not a priority for the club for the moment. The awareness, being involved with the big teams in the world is a lot more important to us because it gives us the visibility, gives us the awareness from different regions, different people, different fans. I'm not sure if it's the best case, but what we are doing with socials.com as our fan token partners. So we have been able to, in their network, become a part of their network with the PSG, Juventus, Barcelona, and this kind of big teams. And when you go into the app, when you see Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and the other teams there, and then there you go, Başakşehir is there. So there's a team like Başakşehir. So why we don't buy one of the fan tokens to have a say for the polls of the club and this kind of stuff. And it's the same with Sorare, actually. They're also, our NFT, one of our NFT partners, doing some, player collection cards. And the operating is the same with Sorare. So we're involved with the big teams so that they're fans as well. Yet I'm not sure that they are the best cases for the moment. But we have some successful cases together with them.
But you know what? I love your answer because you said it at the beginning, you're an innovator club. And that means testing new platforms like Socios or Sorare. No, I mean, you have to be there.
Yeah, definitely, because we have been brave enough to step into this kind of partnership, like one of the first clubs in Turkey. So we already know that these kind of platforms, they're bringing innovation to the football ecosystem. So we have to be there as a part of our
community. I fully agree. And actually, that's fantastic because that was actually going to be my next question. How are you combining physical and digital experience? So thank you for that. Moving on, you said it in the you said it in the intro. Sustainability is one of the key, let's say, aspects that identifies the club. You're a big supporter of sustainability-related initiatives, no? And it's one of the core pillars of the club. So why is it important for the club to embrace sustainability so strongly?
Well, first of all, we are not, as a club, unfamiliar with the word of sustainability. It has been there since the beginning and at the very core of management with every department. We always supported sustainable finance, human resources, sustainable sponsors, and etc. And we decided only to extend it to the nature and human. We needed to tell stories as marketing department also that goes beyond the pitch to build our identity. And those stories should have been for everyone, since we are a new club. We wanted to be a social brand that is more than football, and that it was.
Okay, fantastic. And how are you executing this strategy? Because it's one thing to talk about it, and then it's another thing to actually execute on it. No, so what are the main pillars, or maybe you can share some initiatives that you're carrying out?
Well, I can tell it in general, because we had so many initiatives so far in the last 3 years. Well, basically, we have 3 main pillars under the roof of our social work: health, education, and environmental sustainability. We run them apart from each other, and sometimes, if needed, we can go with implementing 2 or 3 at the same time together. And those times are my favorite one, to be honest. And we are not really selective when it comes to health, and we are trying to be involved with the projects with our name sponsors, which is a private hospital. Now we have a project to be kicked off very soon with the contribution of a state university, with the municipality, for the children affected by the earthquake. And we have a club-branded football management certificate program on our education site, and we are the only club in Turkish football to have such one. It's free, and participants are chosen following the decision of a scientific panel, which is funded in the club. This project actually highlights the equal opportunity for education for everyone. That's why it's free also. And for the environmental sustainability, we are working on 3 years now and taking actions through education, communication, participation, collaboration, and innovation by following 3 basic steps. First, we create or raise awareness, and second, we provide fans a platform so that they can act. We are using our alternative kits as the main asset, and the reason for it, because we can tell story by color, design, and material. And it is the perfect asset for the awareness, since it's on the pitch, like visible, 1 in 2 or 3 weeks.
And you just mentioned there how you're trying to educate fans on the benefits of, let's say, betting on sustainability. But I'm curious about the internal team. No, you were talking about the internal team before. Are they big believers in the mission as well, or do you have to do anything in particular?
Very good question. Indeed, they are, because commitment to sustainability requires a lot of management support, the leadership to start with and to implement it, to take actions, to create funding. And our head coach and the players also give their support a lot to the initiatives that we are doing as in sustainability. As influencers, their role is even bigger for us to make an impact, positive impact. We are also planning education for non-sporting and sporting stuff as well for the upcoming season.
Okay. And another pillar of your success, I think, has been how successful you've been in involving partners. Now, when I speak about partners, these include brands like Homa, which is your kit supplier, Turkish Airlines, Move It. And even you've partnered with other football clubs in Europe, with the clearest case being Real Betis, which, by the way, we will be interviewing as part of this series as well. So what has been key to achieving that, to effectively involve partners in your initiatives?
Well, I guess that's because our problem is common. Environment is everyone's problem, and we are talking about the beautiful game. Will not be so beautiful in few years. Want to play outdoor, stadiums to be floated, And we have a common goal now, and we just give the stage, the platform to our partners, and thanks to them, they're involved. They decide to be, involved. And I do not want to pass without saying it. We would not be more than happy to support their innovation as well, because 100% recycled kit by Homa, biofuel by Turkish Airlines, there's something else. They're big innovations. And Move It is also a partner of Real Betis, and both sides, amazing people putting a lot of effort in this. Football is a great play to speak to a massive audience and create awareness when it comes to sustainability. And at the end, this game is for everyone, and we do not have the luxury to leave anyone behind.
Fully agree. And I think it goes back to what you were mentioning before in terms of the values, no? So, and you're aligning the values that you have, in this case, being so supportive of sustainability, to actually choose your partners and actually let them know what you want to achieve from the very beginning, no? And I think that's a key lesson. And speaking of lessons, why should football industry leaders care about sustainability? Because you mentioned this is everyone's problem, but I don't know if you want to go into further detail on that.
Well, it's a fact. The sustainability is a fact, not a choice to start with. If we want our industry to be sustained in 50 years from now, then we should start, taking actions, because the ugly truth is already here. It's also not just about, managing risk. It's also about building a vision, creating value, because it requires a lot of leadership. Fans want football to be more than football in every football team's case. And it is also an opportunity for us to strengthen our relations with our fans, to improve our brand's proposal and become more impactful, more efficient.
To your point, in a previous episode of the podcast, we interviewed Bash Natter. He's an expert in fan engagement, no? He was mentioning that especially the younger generations are really looking for brands, not only in football, but in general, who support causes. And one of those main causes is actually sustainability. And I always think about how, everybody in the football industry is trying to engage with Gen Z fans. Well, maybe this is a pillar to do so. Again, you have to be authentic about it. You cannot do, let's say, sport washing, but you really have to consider this as another way to reach new fans around the world. No, so thank you for that.
For sure. Thank you.
Asli, I want to move on, because I think also given the growth that you've experienced within Istanbul, I want to understand more about the commercial opportunities that this has, led your way, and also maybe even international expansion. And in fact, is Istanbul Basaksehir considering international expansion at this time?
Well, whilst we are still working on some potential markets, let's say, and it's great for us to, welcoming the fact that actually we are based in one of the most strategic markets in the world. And this is Istanbul, because this massive city has the world in it, to be honest. And sport, arts, history, authenticity, very diverse, people from anywhere in the world. And it's a very important asset that we love using in our business strategy for the moment as a new club.
And in fact, I'm going to take the opportunity to plug in that World Football Summit will be traveling to Istanbul in June 9th for Football Innovation Forum. And that's actually going to become, let's say, the football capital of the world. And as you said, it's kind of proof of how much passion and how Istanbul can be a connecting city, if you will, for many different cultures, which already is. And I think for football, it can do so as well. So really looking forward to it.
It is also very massive for Formula One, for basketball, and people living in here, they have, very diverse culture of sports.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, really looking forward to all of that in just a couple of months, really. And obviously, as you get more fans, as you keep on growing, you get more commercial opportunities, no? How does Istanbul Basaksehir target sponsors? Is there any particular framework that you use that you believe the industry can learn from?
Well, I must say that our identity is our frame already. So challenger, young, and innovator. So we are proposing a brand value to people, and we want to support it with our sponsors. rather national or international. If there is any digital or innovation, or even better, both, we would like to be there. Monetizing would not be our first priority, as I said, in the beginning, when it comes to international partners. Instead, awareness is our motivation as a new club here. And of course, it's wonderful when we, can find together, as in our partnerships with Sorare or Socials.com. And we are also analyzing constantly our needs and not the fans' needs. And I would like to give an example right here.
Please.
So where our stadium is located, you will see when you are in Istanbul, it's not one of the familiar city centers. And one of the biggest questions from the fans was, how do I go to Başakşehir Stadium? Because, Istanbul is massive. So as we know that the experience starts with the fans leaving their home, and it lasts till when they're back on their sofa or bed. That's why we partnered with Move It to improve our fans and followers' match day traveling experience and make it even in a more sustainable way. And it helps because Move It is international, as you know, and our stadium is very close to the international airport, which gives us the opportunity to attract tourists to our stadium.
I love that example because it's a great way for people to understand how you chose a partner based on your values, but the first step was actually to focus on the fan experience. So how can you take what the fan needs and evolve an experience considering and not forgetting about your values, and also bringing in a partner who's able to provide that solution that fits both, your values, but also your fans' needs. So that's a great example. Thank you for that.
Exactly.
Okay, so I want to move on to the final segment of the conversation, and this is more about getting to know you more, let's say, from a personal side, Asli. Given your time at the club, what has been the project or the moment that you've been most proud of?
Well, I can't really say, I guess, because all of it, I guess. I'm just glad having the opportunity to create value by using the beautiful game and working in it. So that's been my, dream since the beginning. And I'm only one of the lucky ones at the moment.
Well, effectively, the journey is the reward, as they say.
Yes,
so
definitely. I love that phrase.
Anyway, so I think that's a great moment to enjoy, and in terms of because you've been growing so much and so quickly, but is there any club, whether it's in football or outside football, in sports, that you're using as a reference or as a model to follow, as an example?
There are a lot, actually, because I love the, smart brains behind the projects, behind the value propositions. But to start with just only the three ones, I'm in love with La Liga. I just love their proposition as West football at La Liga. No need to say more. And I love what they have been doing following their rebranding. It's very inspiring, by the way. And also in Bundesliga, Red Bull, Leipzig, and the whole Red Bull family, actually, Wings of Change, So it's amazing how they become a game changer in Bundesliga and also in other, domestic leagues and also in the European competitions they've been in. So I kind of, like this story because it's likewise us. I want to. I love by by inspiration. Taking the inspiration from their projects, and how they grow off the pitch as well, and also the football group. Of course, I always say it's not the money; it's about how you spend the money, and they spend it very wisely with a great mindset to achieve their goals. Smart people, smart strategies, and it's not just a coincidence. In a very short time, how they get big. And I said three, but finally four. I'm not saying this because they're my former employee, but I also love how being media group is acting on the broadcasting side. So in a very short time, like 4 years, 5 years, they become a very huge sports broadcaster with a lot of creative work they're doing. One of the things that I inspired the most they've done in the past in the United States market, because beIN Sports is doing a lot of great business in the United States market because football is not the hot topic there, but they are promoting the football in a very, very creative way, just to stay alive in that very harsh market. So I just love the ideas and the brilliant people behind them. I really admire them.
I appreciate your answer, because not only did you give 3 fantastic examples within the football industry, but bringing in. I'm a big proponent of learning from businesses outside even sports. I think there's a lot of transferable lessons or skills that you can take from one to the other. No, so thank you for that. Okay, and you mentioned that one of the things that best describes you is how passionate you are for the industry. But I'm pretty sure that there's also a technical side to it, meaning that you're good at what you do. And in that sense, I want to know if you have any advice for those professionals that listen to us that either want to start their career in the sport industry or that they want to enter the sports industry. Or even this even applies to brands looking to enter the industry. So in general, what advice do you have for anybody considering to enter the football industry?
Well, actually, you said it in the previous question. It's all about learning. I've become a lifelong learner, so it's very important because the market is very dynamic. So you have to be updated with everything. So you have a lot to learn from Formula One. You have a lot to learn from basketball. You have a lot to learn from even American football, baseball, and everything. And I can only say that be smart, be brave, and be consistent. And if you're not passionate about it, just don't do it. And on some of our, when we come to some of an emotional part of this, because the working in football environment is not really easy, because it's late nights, the early mornings, the weekends, a lot of sacrifice, consistency, dreaming big, not giving up, the feeling of scared but showing up anyway. So if anyone tell you that you can't do it, what I say to people is just do it twice and take pictures.
There you go. And personally, I want to thank you because I resonate with 2 lessons that you've shared. First, continuous learning. I'm a big proponent of that. And also, as we alluded to earlier, the journey is the reward, really. It's not, there's no destination. It's just enjoying every step of the way, Asli, I want to thank you so much for your time today. But before we leave, are there any last words or messages that you want to share with our audience?
Well, as in the previous one, if anyone tell you that you can't do it, just do it twice and remember to take pictures.
I'm going to use that as a sound clip for this episode. Where can people learn more about you or what, or about Istanbul Basaksehir and all the initiatives that they're doing?
Well, our LinkedIn page is a great, opportunity to follow up with our, business side project. It's very active, and also our website. And I can suggest our other social communication channels because we're very creative, so people won't regret it.
Well, we'll link to those in the show notes of the episode. Asli, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I've had a blast. I'm pretty sure the audience is going to enjoy this conversation so much. And I look forward to Istanbul in a couple of months, and of course to have you back on the podcast at some point further down the line.
Thank you very much. We also look forward to welcome you here. Make sure that you visit the club before you go to the conference.
Will do. Count me in. Thank you, Asli.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And there you have her, Asli Elif Koç, Head of Marketing at Istanbul Basaksehir, helping us understand her role as marketing lead at the club. What were the key takeaways for me? First, I really like that framework of aligning the expectations of the fan experience with the values of the club and the selection of the appropriate partner. Second, if you want to innovate, you have to be comfortable with the fact that you will need to test many new avenues of growth until you find those that work for you. Third, sustainability and climate change is a problem that impacts us all, and the football industry must be a catalyst for changing fan mindsets around the problem. Finally, the journey is the reward. Even if you are passionate about working in the football industry, you still need to work hard and put huge effort despite not seeing short-term wins. Is there anything else that stood out for you? If so, please reach out across social media and let us know. And remember, you can subscribe and rate the podcast on the platform of your choice, and you can also share it with other colleagues in the industry. And remember to follow along as we invite more amazing guests that will help us celebrate female leadership in football. Nothing else from my side. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the World Football Summit podcast. Have a great rest of your day, and we hope to see you next time.